You know, the local media has an agenda that they're going to serve. I don't know who's in charge of it or what it is, if it's like a headless monster.
Why? Is a question.
Walking backwards.
Yeah.
Something sacred.
I don't know the names of the crew songs. Those
Running in circles.
Just pop in and let play.
Sea of Glass.
The flight and the fall.
I love Ozzy. I think he's the true definition of a rock star.
Anybody else have any interesting stories they want to tell?
This is Doug from After the Fall. Hey, this is John Lane from the Thrive Tropics of Leechburg, Pennsylvania.
The Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock that Pennsylvania has to offer. What's the story this week? I'm a fuck in your world, and I'm fucked up on oxy pills.
Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned in to the Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer, right here on PARockShow.com, MegaRockRadio.net, RooterooRadio.com, BuildAScene.com/radio, XRPRadio.co.uk, and AltRockRadio.ca. This is episode number 500, and with me tonight is Illusions of Grandeur out of Philadelphia. What's up, guys?
Hey, where are you making out?
How's it going?
So, just because
congratulations on 500.
Thank you. It's been a long time coming, and I would have never guessed. Actually, the first episode I didn't even know was the first episode, so I can't even say I would have never guessed when I first did it because I never guessed I was doing it.
Someone talked you into it, tricked you.
Well, no, but I'll tell you off the air because I tell that story a lot.
Okay.
So it's Maggie and do you go by CM?
Yeah, CM. That's what most people call me.
I noticed you have a ton of likes on Facebook. I went to tag you in something the other day, and I'm like, that is them.
Yeah, that started. We started like posting on Facebook. I mean, because the band's been in existence for about 5 years. And we started posting on Facebook. In the first few years, it was, average 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And it was right after our first tour in Europe back in 2018. All of a sudden, we got a little wider known. And next thing you know, we were like 38, 39,000, 40,000. We were kind of like, what the hell? So Facebook's been good to us.
Well, Europe is definitely Europe is a better audience for this type of music.
Absolutely. Yeah. They really embraced us, and what we do, our theatrical style and kind of the mix of like rock and metal and progressive. So it's, not to say we don't have a lot of great American fans. But they just everywhere we played in England and France and Germany and the Ukraine, it's packed houses, and it's a different tone. The fans over there are super loyal, and they follow us and communicate with us constantly. So it's been really, really interesting.
I think that might be the first time the Ukraine has been mentioned on the show.
Yeah, the Ukraine was awesome.
Yeah, we did a full month in the Ukraine last year.
Is there any particular venue that you really liked over there in Europe as a whole?
Well, we really like the festivals.
Yeah, Smila.
There's a town in just outside of Dnipro called Smila. And I mean, if it's a teeny little town, and they asked us to come play there. They got in touch with our booking agent, and they wanted us to come play. So we show up, and in the middle of I guess it was the town park, they set up like a festival stage. And we were kind of like, oh, there's, I guess, a big concert going on. No, it's for you. And we ended up planting a tree and being on the local news. And we planted a tree in their town square. And then we played a concert to pretty much the whole town. So it was a little bit crazy for a band that has one album out and has just been touring around. So it was intense. That has to be my favorite experience so far on our European tours.
Was there a significance with the tree planting?
They wanted to have something to remember us being there by, and they've done it with other acts that have come through. And every couple of years they'll plant one, and this is like if you come back, again and again, you'll see your tree, the Illusions of Grandeur tree, growing in our town square.
I actually got a message from the guy that took us to plant it, and he said, "Your tree is growing. Your tree is growing."
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it was. You know what? It was an awe-inspiring experience. It was a shock because we just thought, because we play a lot of festivals and we'll play a lot of multi-group things. So we show up, we see this big stage, and we're like, "Oh, this is great! Oh, it's gonna be a great day, great European crowd." And and we're like, "So, who's playing?" And they're like, "Well, we have a couple local bands, but you guys are the headliners, and this was done around you guys." I was like, "What?" So, you don't want to let it go to your head, but it's like they really enjoyed what we did. They knew the lyrics to a lot of the songs. It was it's one of those kind of like, moments like we were just like, wow, that was really cool. I can't believe that happened. I'm grateful it did happen. And you know what? Hey, man, that's awesome.
So where did the band name come from?
Oh, I'll let Maggie handle this.
The band.
So that's my only cliche question, just so you know.
No, that's okay. I've been in a lot of bands, and back in the Craigslist days, looking for bands on Craigslist. The common theme I was seeing was no illusions of grandeur here, and I'm like, why not? Why not? I have tons of illusions of grandeur, and I started thinking to myself, I was like, that's an awesome band name, Illusions of Grandeur, because I'm not stopping until I get to the top. So, why not have Illusions of Grandeur? And that's kind of how it became the band name.
See, now you're giving me segues. Ready for this one?
Sure.
Sure.
If you were able to tour with any internationally touring band, so the top, who would you pick, and where would you want to open the tour at?
Korn at Red Rocks.
I'm going to go there someday. That place looks awesome.
It's an amazing venue. It's a killer venue. Be prepared. Better if you're going anytime between May and September, bring a lot of water. It's extremely hot.
I love In This Moment, but Korn is definitely my all-time favorite band, and Korn at Red Rocks.
See, I'd want to play with Iron Maiden at Rock in Rio.
Well, you're old, so that's fun.
Old school.
He's old school.
I'm sitting there going, okay, now I told them how old I was earlier. How do I fit in here?
I'm just messing with him.
Nah, but I would tell you what, Korn at Red Rocks would be amazing, and it's one of the first, big pictures of concerts I saw growing up was Rock in Rio, and it still is one of the largest ones on the planet. Kiss played there for 180,000 people, and Iron Maiden plays there every year they play, and it's like, think about how amazing that would be to open for Iron Maiden at Rock in Rio.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
That's bucket list. So if that's the question, that's my answer.
Okay, see, you guys just keep feeding the show. This is great. You ready?
Yeah.
Either or. Sammy or David Lee Roth?
Sammy. I'm sorry.
Sammy.
I jumped all over that.
It's Sammy.
I'm sorry. Sammy's.
I thought the David Lee Roth era was amazing and they were true rockers, but when Sammy Hagar joined the band, they became more musicians and the albums had more texture and different things. Not to mention, they never had a number one album or number one single with David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth's a hell of a showman, but Sammy's definitely a better singer, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Okay, see, now you're going to see where it came from. You ready?
Oh.
Ace, Bruce, Vinny. Who am I forgetting? There were so many more. Mark St. John. I can't remember more. Kiss guitarist. Who am I forgetting?
Vinny Vincent, Ace Frehley. You can say Bob Kulick, although he never played with them live.
Nah, but he is on the recordings.
He's on almost every album.
He's every one.
Tommy Thayer.
That's who I forgot. How did I forget him?
He's the current
I've seen
guy.
him live.
You got to go with Ace Frehley because he's
Yeah,
the
that's
original
what-
guy, the
that's what I was
original
gonna say.
spaceman, and that laugh. It's the best laugh in existence. You know, I got to see them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014 at the Barclays,
Nice.
and it was the weirdest induction in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they didn't play. And normally, when a band doesn't play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Awards, they have somebody play their music. You know, like Linda Ronstadt was inducted that night, and they had Sheryl Crow and all these different people sing her music. So Kiss went up, they were inducted, stage went black. It was like it was a what the F moment. Like, what?
Oh,
They're
you
not
know,
gonna
they
even
don't,
treat them?
they don't really get along anymore.
No, yeah, you could tell too, but it was really cool just to be in the same room with the 4 original guys. It was real.
I met Gene Simmons once. Anytime somebody mentions Kiss, it's inevitable I'm going to talk about him.
Oh yeah, we love Kiss. You know what? We consider what we do to be maybe the grandchild of what they did. You know, it started somewhere because we put on a huge stage show. There's makeup, there's lights, there's costumes.
I know, I've been called the female Neil Diamond as well. So or King Diamond.
King Diamond.
Not
Yeah, I'm about to say.
sorry.
I had never heard
King
that
Diamond,
one.
King
That's
Diamond,
a surprise.
I knew who I meant.
You know, one of the diamonds.
One
Dave,
of the diamonds.
Diamond Dave. No,
Now, see, he came up twice now.
Yeah. So I would consider what we do, like our band, maybe the grandchild of that. Although musically, we're much heavier in a different direction. But show wise, you got to give it up. Kiss is a spectacle. So, and that's kind of one of the things that when we came together, we were looking at the local scene and look what was going on, and there were great bands in it. The Philadelphia area, and we're out in Lancaster now. We relocated to Lancaster, and there's great bands, amazing talent, but there wasn't really much of a show. So the first thing we really concentrated on, besides for writing great songs, because it all starts with the song, was when we appear live, we want to be larger than life. So there's a story that we play behind the songs of the Siren Saga, and we put on a full show, lights, outfits, the whole thing. So it's something for people to see. And actually, who was it? We were just played 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, and you got a pretty good compliment. What did the guys say?
There was a guy there. He said, "You guys are great." He said, he's like, I like the music. He's like, but if I couldn't get into the music for some reason, he's like, there's all the theatrics you do. And he's like, and then if I wasn't really into the theatrics, he's like, there's the makeup and then the show. He's like, you guys have lights and, theatrics and show and makeup. And he's like, and then the music is amazing. He's like, so,
there's something for
everybody. He's like, I wouldn't be bored even if I didn't care for the music. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. So that was kind of cool, I thought.
So yeah, I would consider us a couple layers, a couple generations out from Kiss, but we still kind of have to give a nod to the gods.
No,
So
absolutely.
each of the original Kiss members have a story behind how they decided on their makeup.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind what you guys wear?
For me, it's a war paint. I'm not even in real life. I really don't wear a whole lot of makeup. And I can't stand the tediousness of it. And, God bless all the girls that have the time and energy to do that. It's just not for me. But I have some kind of kinship with Native American war paint and war paint in general, Viking war paint. Just, I like the whole idea of
And your character.
Yeah, my character is the Siren. I guess that kind of ties into that. More so just like a Viking-esque.
Witches and
sirens and and war paint. So for me, that's kind of where it comes from.
And I picked the Archangel because it's in the story. It's immortals. We draw from a lot of
gods and goddesses,
and I can't think of what the heck it's called. Greek mythology.
Yeah.
My brain's
Greek and Norse mythology.
And so I thought it'd be interesting to be an archangel. to be something like totally kind of outside that, yet bring it into it, because we're writing the story. It's our story, and we're pulling from different areas, different mythologies, different things. So we pulled that. I pulled that in because I thought that would be just something larger than life, amazing, and it's worked out really well for me. It's been a really cool character to play on stage, and it's been a lot of fun with the costumes and stuff.
Have you guys ever heard of the band Dethlehem?
Bethlehem?
Dethlehem with a D.
Dethlehem? No, I've never heard of Dethlehem. I shall check them out.
Are you sitting near a computer right now?
I'm sitting near a smartphone.
Well, that'll work too. I feel like you guys should do a show together.
Where are they from?
They are from Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Here we go, Dethlehem. It looks cool, yeah.
So I'm gonna play Dethlehem on tonight's show.
I'm listening to them now. Yeah, well, they're a lot heavier than us, but we love to go out. There's another band from Pittsburgh called Rain of Z. Yeah, we just recently played a show with them, and we'll be probably setting some stuff up with them and heading out to the Pittsburgh area, Ohio, probably in the next few months. When we get to
you guys really are feeding the show. We'll play some Rain of Z tonight too.
You should play some Rain of Z tonight. You should do that. They're good people. They're a great band that kind of hang out with, and that was an interesting night. We played with them. Kind of one of the near towns to us is Harrisburg, and so there's the Harrisburg Midtown Arts Center. And they have a couple small rooms, but they have a really large room, their Capitol room. We played there with Rain of Z. I guess in December, sometime early December, and it was a great show because it was just a lot of fun. But afterwards, like 2 a.m, as we're packing up the stage sets and doing everything, we were kind of sitting around shooting those. I
have to know, did they take you guys to an Eaton Park?
No, it's our area more than theirs. So
no, we all just kind of were sitting around. They were doing not the bands, but people were doing chair races on chairs with wheels because it's such a huge room. We were just kind of sitting around, just shooting the breeze, talking about touring, talking about music. They were just really cool people. So it was a really fun night. It's always nice to run into the kind of kindred spirits and bands that kind of get what you're doing. So Rain of Z was really cool. We had been trying to set up a show with them for, I think, since last year, and it just so happened that it worked out that we were able to cross paths on that night. So, but hopefully we'll get to do some more shows with them soon. Cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting out to the Pittsburgh area. We have quite a few people that we communicate with out there, and we're looking forward to getting out there and doing some shows. We just got to find the right. It's always about finding the right time and the right tour to be on, and that's kind of our plan. We're in the studio now working on our second album, The Siren. And we've taken off January and some of February. We're headlining the Millennium Music Festival, I guess the end of February. Right?
Conference, Millennium Music Conference.
A conference. And then we're doing something with September Mourning in the middle of February. But other than that, we're buried in the studio. I think besides for us, the only other band I've seen that actually takes forever to get ready is Motorgrader.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they take forever, too.
They're fully painted from the waist up, and that was some crazy shows. And not that we're trying to compete with them.
Motorgrader or Motorgrader?
I thought it was Motorgrader.
I thought it was Motorgrader.
Motorgrader. But yeah, you should. If you haven't checked them out, they're covered in paint.
I forgot we played with them.
Yeah.
If you could take an album from any band that you absolutely love and erase it from your memory so that you can hear it again for the first time,
oh man,
what album would that be?
Supertramp, Breakfast in America.
That was fast.
Oh my god.
It's my favorite album.
It's just jam. That's what he tells me all the time. It's my jam.
It's a great album. It's recorded well. The songs are amazing, and
Oh god, I don't know. That's a tough one. I like so much music from so many genres. That's a really hard question.
Maybe Master of Puppets too. There'd be two that I'd love to hear again for the first time.
Yeah, I could probably go with that, with Metallica.
I would think the first Korn record for you, maybe.
I don't know, because I don't know if the first one's really my favorite.
How about Stained?
Oh God, I don't know.
And it's funny because as we're in this, like I said, we're in the studio now working on our second record, and as we're working on it, a lot of production ideas are coming up. So everyone's throwing throw in their 2 cents in the mix. Well, what about this band? What about that band?
Yeah.
What about this sound? You know what I mean? Like, I love Pantera albums.
Oh, I love Pantera. That might be it for me.
Maybe Rehear Vulgar Display of Power.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, I love Rex's bass tone. I actually own one of his basses. And I used it on the last record, but this record I'm doing something a little bit different. But I still like getting that growl and that huge bass sound. So, you know, I'm throwing that in. And then we have a new drummer, Ted, who just came in. And Ted's influence.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's a monster drummer. The guy just never goes out of time. And he's more influenced by like Amon Amarth and death metal and things of that nature. So everyone's kind of bringing in there. And then our guitar player, Nolan, he's progressive metal and neoclassical and jazz. And he brings in a lot of like this Norwegian type of production and death metal. So it's interesting. It's a real hodgepodge. It's a real cauldron, let me tell you, of stuff getting thrown in while we're in the studio. So that's an interesting question. What I wouldn't want, what I'd like to rehear for the first time. That would probably be it. I'd probably settle on Metallica.
I'm gonna go with Pantera. Yeah, definitely.
If an apocalyptic event happens and the majority of the humans are wiped off the face of the earth, and only one song from every band that was ever in existence survives.
Oh, wow.
Which one of your songs and
oh no,
read into this question however you want. Which one of your songs should survive and help the people repopulate the earth?
I guess I'd go with Silent Suicide.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew he was gonna say Silent Suicide.
Silent Suicide is having a run on Spotify right now. It's crazy. It's got over 500,000 listens in the past like 2 weeks.
Wow.
But it's one of my favorite ones because of how the genesis of it, of sitting out I got this house here in Lancaster, and we had almost like no furniture or nothing, and I just had a little amp and a pod, and we were writing songs. And this is, I guess, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just was playing my Les Paul, this 81 Les Paul that I had, and I just started playing riffs. And Garby, who's our tour manager and kind of helps us with the staging and stuff like that, came flying down the steps. What's that? And it developed into Silent Suicide. And it's one of my favorite songs. And live, it tears it up live. So I would say Silent Suicide.
I kind of knew he was going to say that. I don't know. That's a tough question. I think for me, it's.
I told you there was only one cliche question coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
If one song were to survive.
Yeah, it'd probably be. I'd say Silent Suicide or Mayhem.
Oh, Mayhem's good too.
Yeah, Mayhem.
Silent Suicide just has it all. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's true. It's a little bit of screaming, a little bit of softness in the middle there, the bridge, and then. Yeah, probably Silent Suicide. I'll have to agree.
Okay, I lied. I'm going to ask another cliche.
Okay, sure.
All good.
So we're going to stay back in that idea of history and, things like that. If you could sit on a bench for an hour and talk to any musician that was ever alive.
Oh, man.
Which musician would you want to talk to, and what would you ask them about?
Wow, that's
it's kind of cliche because you hear that question all the time, but not in this, not with music.
Well, for you, I'd say Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin. I don't know though. Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
I don't. Janet. I get. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Can there be lots of people on the bench?
How big's this bench?
How big is the bench?
Forrest Gump.
How often can I go back to the bench?
Yeah, exactly.
Who would you want to sit and talk with about?
The good news is I'm going to ask you another question that's going to give you a similar chance to pick someone else.
Well, that's really difficult. I'm lucky because a lot of my heroes are still alive.
Well, you could still sit on a bench and talk to them.
Yeah, maybe John Lennon, just because he was a brilliant songwriter and funny guy, apparently. And I love his songwriting and his work. The Beatles, kind of were the prototypical genesis for production, you know, and that whole idea of the song and the album, and that they really, you know, while lots of bands in that time were doing it, they kind of crafted that. So yeah, I would say John Lennon.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Freddie Mercury. He just his ability to captivate the audience and keep them, and you know, never mind his singing ability, because there's lots of reasons for that, his range and how big his mouth was and his teeth and all kinds of things, but just his ability to just own everything, and yeah, he was the man.
All right, so I have one more question that I'm going to ask you before we talk about the song that we're going to play tonight.
Okay.
And then we'll take a short break. You guys are okay with sticking around for another segment, right?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Okay. So let's say a movie is made about illusions of grandeur.
Oh, I like it.
Who will play you?
Me, damn it.
That's the best answer ever. Who would play me? I have no idea. Who would play me?
John Favreau.
John Favreau. John Favreau.
John Favreau. Oh, God.
So Happy is going to play him?
Vince Vaughn would have to play
Spider-Man?
you then.
Vince Vaughn would have I like it. I'm in.
Actually, he would play Nick.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn would be Nick for sure.
Would be our guitar player, Nick. Wow. Who would play?
That's a tough one.
It'd be a young, unknown actress.
I don't know. I just say me.
It'd be you.
Yeah.
Who would play you? Can you answer that way?
Yeah, why not?
There you go.
Me, man.
There's no rules. There's no script.
It would be you starring with John Favreau.
That's right. And Vince Vaughn. Bucket list. I want to meet Vince Vaughn.
Okay. So, as I just said, there's no real script. So what song am I going to play for you guys tonight?
You should play Silent Suicide, since that's the one we think should survive the entire Thanos-style apocalypse.
Nobody snapped their fingers.
Damn it, Buck.
All right, so what can you tell me about that song? Let's see how you guys actually fall in this age bracket. Do a VH1 storyteller for me.
Oh, VH1.
Silent Suicide is a time in this story where
the Archangel and the Siren meet, and the Archangel actually is in disguise as Odysseus, which is a mythological character. And the story of the Sirens is basically that, well, a story from the Sirens is that mortal men can't cross the path of the Siren without being captured and die. Basically, they steal their souls. And if you happen to be able to make it past the Siren, then one of the Sirens has to commit suicide. So Odysseus, because he's not mortal, kind of tricks the Siren, and he ties himself to the mast of the ship, and he manages to get past her. So, you know, the lyrics are "Can't resist me, silent suicide." So basically, he tricks her, and she realizes that he's a god, and that's how he makes it past her.
And that's the gist.
So that's the gist of
the song.
it.
And it's also kind of the meeting moment of my character and her character.
Yeah, in the story. So that's where
in the story. So it happens early in the album, but yeah, that's the song I think would survive, and it's got a lot of different genres mixed into the song. So I think people are going to dig it.
Okay, so we're going to take a moment and listen to Silent Suicide by Illusions of Grandeur. I think we're going to play a Dethlehem song here just because I brought them up. We're going to play it.
Damn it.
I don't know which one yet, though, so you're going to have to wait until we come back, and I'll tell you what it was.
I'm in.
Okay, so we'll be right back with Illusions of Grandeur on episode number 500. Hey, it's Bill. You just heard Illusions of Grandeur and their song Silent Suicide, and Dethlehem and their song, I do not want to mess this one up, Sky Palace of the Dragon Riders. I always have trouble saying that if I'm not reading it for some reason, so I had to pull it back up.
That's a mouthful. It's awesome, though.
If I was flipping through a social studies book and I found you in my social studies book, what would that page be about?
What would that page be about? Well, for her, it'd be mythology.
Yeah, it'd be mythology for me. Definitely.
Social studies. Well, it has to be actual.
Ooh, has to be about...
mythology definitely fits because I teach about the Greeks and the Romans to my
Excellent.
6th grade class. So
how could you not?
That's where it started for me.
That's where it started.
6th grade. No, I'm serious. Mythology.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's where the whole idea really kind of stems from.
It Genesis is from there.
Yeah, from my 6th grade
Where
unit
would you
on
find me.
Greek.
I'm going to go with early man.
That's so accurate. Oh my God. Neanderthal.
Neanderthal. Not even Neanderthal.
did you cross over the land bridge from Asia to North America?
Oh, I haven't done that, but I'd like to. I can imagine they were good times.
Well, I mean, they ended up doing that because they were chasing their food. So
there it is.
That would be you.
That would be me. I chase a lot of food.
Okay, so a more serious question for a moment.
Uh-oh.
Can you tell me about the moment that you realized that you wanted to play music?
Oh yeah, I definitely can.
Yeah.
I've been around music since I was very, very little. My dad's a guitar player, and he had a band back in the day. And I can remember going to band practice with him, jamming out. You know, as a little girl, I was probably about 4 years old the first time I went, and I knew since then because my dad put me on stage, and he said I was a natural. And ever since then, I've wanted to be on stage, and I've kind of followed it. I went to college for art, but kind of never got out of music. You know, I've been doing music ever since I was a little girl. So music and chorus and musicals and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I knew from a long time ago that this is what I wanted to do.
Cool.
And I guess for me, my next door neighbor was a drummer, and his favorite band was Kiss. And so he introduced me to a lot of Kiss. And at the time, it was all the rage. It was 1977, I think, 76, 77. I was little. I was maybe 5. And
see, he's not that old.
I'm old. And
I was born in 76.
The bicentennial. Right. I remember Destroyer, and I remember, Rock and Roll Over, and I remember those albums because they played them for me constantly. And then there was another band. There was an actual full band. He was just a drummer, and there was a full band on my block, and it was a family band, not like the Partridge Family. It was a bunch of brothers.
That's exactly who popped in my head when you said that.
Yeah. It was a family band, and I remember. And what's funny is, I'm probably the only 8-year-old that was playing bass. I was attracted to bass. I liked just how when you played it, the speaker moved. Like if you walk past it, man, it blew your hair back. So that's why I started playing bass guitar, and it's been a lifelong journey of playing bass ever since.
If we were to play your music backwards,
yeah,
what would we hear? Yeah, that's an 80s reference for those of you that are too young.
I'm not that young.
Yeah, she's not that young. She's not that old.
I'm not that old.
If we were to play our music backwards,
not a 90s.
What would you hear? You mean like a message, or?
Well, is there a message? Is it what is the opposite of what you write? However you want to interpret it.
However you want to interpret it. You'd probably hear some Robin Trower riffs. One of my kind of off-center influences, Robin Trower, and the album Bridges of Sigh. So it's whenever I can stick like even just a little taste of it into a song or somewhere, I will. And I've actually only had one person ever go, "Wow, man, that one song, man, it sounds like that one part sounds like Robin Trower." I was like, "Holy shit!" Like. No one can pick that out. Even if I tell you about it, you probably couldn't pick it. So if you played it backwards, maybe something off of Bridges of Sigh.
So without changing the space-time continuum.
Okay.
What band would you like to go back in time and watch for a year to learn from?
Oh.
And while you're thinking, what is the reference? You did get it, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Space-time continuum.
Yeah, that's Back to the Future.
Okay.
I'd love to go back and hang out with the Eagles
Oh yeah, that's
around
a cool one.
before Hotel California, like in that ramp up to it.
We actually talked about that one time. That specific thing. Like, I'll go back and.
I would just because like going from like a really well known band to being like the biggest band out there doing what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you know what? It seems to be a revolving theme. Kiss as they recorded Destroyer and toured on it.
I'm okay with that continuing to come up.
So I'd pick either one of them. Like if you wanted to learn from the guys that were truly the masters of like, that mid 70s arena rock thing, it's the Eagles. So I would say the Eagles around the time of Hotel California.
That's a pretty solid answer.
That's it. God damn it, it is.
I'm thinking about like all encompassing, because there's people I would like to spend time with, but some of their histories are like, I wouldn't want to be around for that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, I'm not into the drug scene and certain things like that. So, I mean, while there are some great bands out there that I wouldn't mind spending time with, that kind of closes that door for me because I want to learn from them. I don't want to just be around to watch people do drugs. So, unfortunately, I mean,
and there you go, giving me another segue.
Another great one would be the Traveling Wilburys. You hang out with Dylan and hang out with Roy Orbison and Tom Petty and George Harrison.
Well, yeah, I mean,
come on,
that's weed. I'm talking about like I'm not talking about like hardcore drugs where like
weed, man.
I gotta like wake them up from some kind of coma.
Yeah,
I mean, because Zeppelin would be really cool, and Queen would be as well. But I can't party like Freddie, man.
I don't think anyone could. I don't think Freddie could party like Freddie.
I couldn't get down with that. Like,
Don't go back to Korn.
I'd be sleeping.
Days, it'd be all meth.
Yeah, and see, Korn would be cool too. But then there you go.
Yeah.
Like, I want to learn something.
If you're talking about learning something and experiencing something, I'd say the Eagles.
Yeah, I'd go with the Eagles too. I would say that too.
Okay, so the movie Almost Famous.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
This is what you segued me to. You don't realize it, but when you said about avoiding the drugs, there was a lot of drugs in that movie.
Oh, yes. My God. And Philip Seymour Hoffman, when he's like, I used to do speed and a little cough syrup. And it's just, I love that line.
So my question is, if you are the kid who Rolling Stones sent out on a tour for their first article ever.
So I'm a young Cameron Crowe. Okay.
What band would you want to be your assignment? See, all this stuff is telling us your influences in case you haven't figured out.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Wow. You know what band I like? A young kid going out on a monster tour? Metallica on the Black Album tour. 400 shows over 2.5 years all around the world, including Moscow, playing that Russian airfield with Pantera.
Oh, man.
If I could be on that tour as a reporter, like a fly on the wall, absolutely.
That album was my high school football weightlifting soundtrack. That's all we listened to.
It was a great record. Real departure. Pop rock took them in a different direction. But yeah, if you're talking about a tour and going out to report on something, that was like their heyday.
Mm-hmm.
Their first big worldwide mega rock stardom. I would pick that album in that tour.
That's very specific.
It's so specific.
It's so specific. I'd say Korn at some point in time, but I really like Ray on drums, so,
In the past 11 years.
So we might have to fast forward it a little. But
if you were going to go back, though, I mean, you wouldn't want to go out with Big Brother and the Holding Company?
Again, that comes that drug factor.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're wasting a lot of time. Like, let's get to the music. Like, so, yeah, I mean, for aspects of, being able to spend time with Janis Joplin, yeah, definitely. That would have been amazing.
All right, sticking with the movie theme.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in a tribute band, and the band that you're doing a tribute of, their lead singer quits, and they call you up.
Mm-hmm.
What band would you be joining? All kinds of movies. Rockstar, for those of you that aren't paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
The story of Judas Priest. I actually met Blaze.
I'm going with In This Moment.
Really?
Yeah.
A tribute to In This Moment.
Yeah. I love her.
I've been told I sound like Iron Maiden's original singer, Paul Di'Anio. So maybe that.
I'm not claiming to be as good as Maria, but
actually, 38 Special.
Nice.
I was in another band about 20 years ago. We were in the studio, and at the time, my hair was growing out, etc. And we were all laughing. There was a video on, and my doppelganger is the lead singer of 38 Special. I mean, it could have been my twin.
Van Zant, but I can't remember which one.
It's not Johnny. It's actually, well, this is back then, and 38 Special was a couple different Van Zants, but it was Hold On Loosely. It was a live video of them, and our producer at the time comes walking in and he goes, "Chris is on TV." I was like, "What do you mean I'm on TV?" And walked out, and I swear it could have been me. We all laughed so hard it was funny. So I guess I would be called up for a 38 Special tribute band.
A lot of people tell me that I remind them of Maria, but I've also been called a low caliber Maria Brink as well. So, I was like, okay,
like an
I don't know how
underhanded compliment.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's how I felt too. But I was like, okay, sure, I'll take it, whatever.
So low energy.
So low, and anything with Maria in it, I'm good.
So you guys headed to Europe again, and I'm tagging along.
Mm-hmm.
What
are you bringing? No.
A laptop and a microphone. And in between tour stops, what are we listening to?
Oh, man. We are really big into listening to local radio. We were in the Ukraine, and we only listened to local Ukrainian radio.
We started getting
and
lyrics.
Local, if we're in France, here's a little hidden secret.
Bijan Freeze.
No, Frank, don't sell it out. Here's a little secret. There is a ton of French gangster rap.
Yes, there is. It's hilarious.
You can't escape it if you're listening to local stations. We were in stitches. I mean, it was amazing. And in the Ukraine, there's tons of just like pop, really, we call it
club really, pop music,
really shitty disco Euro trash.
Yeah, like what year is it?
So yeah, we're just whatever tour bus we're on, whatever we just put on the radio, and it's entertainment in and of itself.
It's a blast. It's fun.
It's a lot of.
He said if Illusions of Grandeur doesn't work out, I'm just going to move to France and be a French rapper.
My rapper name would be Bijan Freeze.
I'm dying.
And then I learned a couple of the French raps because we had spent we were in Paris for a bit, and it was hilarious because it was every time you get in like an Uber or we get in, so you turn it, and that's
I was
what
like, I know this song.
I'm like, is there nothing else on the goddamn radio? I'm like, this is crazy.
It's like that in the Ukraine too. I'm like, wow, I'm starting to know these songs.
We knew all the songs. Actually,
you're whistling along.
Yeah, when we came back, I actually went on iTunes and found Ukraine radio station.
Yeah.
Just because to mess.
I missed it.
Just to mess with the band. Like I put it on, and no one would even think for it. They're like, "Wait a minute, what are we listening to?" So that's if we're on tour and you're in our tour bus, it's usually something local. We like to soak up the local flavors and the local music, and whatever is around us.
That's like the first thing we did when we got into the Ukraine. We had this really cool house we stayed in, like a palace almost.
We were in Kiev.
And we turned on the music channel and watched the music videos.
We turned on music videos for like an entire 24-hour period. We were staying in Kiev, and we got a Airbnb, and it was at the top of this really old apartment building, and there's this rickety elevator, and I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, this is going to suck. We get to the top. It's as if they took a palace and ripped it off of a palace and put it on the top of the shittiest apartment building.
Well,
it was gorgeous. You get out of the elevator and it's all marble steps, and it had a blast door, two
bomb doors,
5-inch thick like vault doors that closed opposite ways to lock us into the apartment. And then when you were in there was like 5 bathrooms and all these terraces and
hot tubs,
and we were like, what the hell is this?
Talk about not judging a book by its cover.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
They're hiding it so no one knows it's there.
Exactly.
It really is, and you can't break into it either. It was the whole top 2 floors of this apartment building, or maybe 3, and we stayed in there while we were playing in Kiev. And it was all. I'm like, I don't want to leave here. And then my other favorite thing was Uber Eats.
Oh yeah,
in
Uber
Kiev.
Eats. That's so funny because the language barrier, they're just like look at you like, this must be for you.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. If we're going back to the question, it would be,
the local music.
You get a lot of Uber Eats and a lot of local music.
I can't get Uber Eats here, but I can get it in Kiev.
Yeah, we can't get it in Lancaster. It's great.
No, you can't get it here in Leechburg either. What I want you to do is tell me about an embarrassing moment that you've had on stage, except you can't tell me about yours. You have to tell me. So, CM, you're going to have to tell me about one Maggie had. Maggie, you tell me one that he had. And see if they agree.
Embarrassing moment.
Embarrassed?
Oh, you know what?
You have one for me?
It was that time.
He's laughing.
We were experimenting in the early days of the band with a ton of different costumes.
Oh, my God.
And some of it didn't get tested until we were on stage.
Bad idea, by the way.
My favorite was it was like a huge old, actually it just came up in my 2-year Facebook feed. So if you go to my personal Facebook or the Illusions Facebook,
now you're going to tell everybody about it.
He has to now.
It was like a prom dress. Do you remember you couldn't move?
Do. Yeah.
She got on stage in this. It's amazing flowing red gown, and
it's black.
It's black and red, and you couldn't move. Like you couldn't move. You were stuck in one place for all the entire show. And I'm like, what's wrong with her tonight? She don't want to, because she performs on top of this really intense. We call it a light riser. And
oh, that's right, because the slit was so high up, and
couldn't move.
I couldn't move. That's right. I do remember that.
You know, we're all on stage and we're doing our thing, and I'm like, wow, she's just not feeling it tonight. And you got off stage, you're like, yeah, I couldn't move. So she got on stage. She managed to get onto the light riser, and the light riser is 10,000 watts of light. I mean, it comes up, it's bright. It's the brightest thing in the room, and she was just getting fried by the light riser, and you couldn't move. So that was actually, Did
you get a tan that night?
No, I was sweating like nobody's business.
Yeah,
places where I didn't know I could sweat. Yeah.
Okay, see, now it's revenge time. You can tell a story about him now.
Oh.
There's so many that have happened to me on stage.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not paying attention enough. I'm so into what I'm doing. It's like...
Oh, the time my wireless died.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. His wireless died, and there's just, like, no bass. And I'm looking at him like, you all right? You're over there down by your rig trying to...
Because I always checked the batteries before I went on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm good. I checked them. And they died an hour into the show. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
And there's just no bass. I'm like,
It was crazy. And then the battery pack fell off. And went somewhere. And
I think you had to plug in, too.
I did, yeah. I had to find a cord.
So the battery died, and then you couldn't put it back together. I could see that.
Yeah, in front of a packed house. And then I always keep a cord next to my pedal board just in case this unforeseen thing could happen. And you know what I didn't do that night?
Keep a cord next to your pedal board.
Exactly. Because it's never going to happen.
I remember thinking, too, like, all right, well, we'll just finish without bass. It's fine.
Well, that makes me feel
Well, no, I know everybody's instrument, so and you should. If you lose something, you should know where you're at. You shouldn't follow one person. You should know the other parts, so you know where you are.
Yeah,
No matter what.
I figured that's one of the most embarrassing ones.
Yeah, that's funny because that's what I was thinking of. I'm like trying to think if there was anything else, but that's got to be.
Oh, there's a lot that you probably never notice.
Yeah, I don't notice because I'm doing my thing.
Thank God.
Thank God. Till the pictures come out.
That was that night I almost killed the sound guy in no. Remember?
Oh my God! Yeah, I remember that.
I don't want to talk about that one. Yeah. It was a fun night in the middle of the Ukraine.
I had to like calm him down. I'm like, we're not in our country. Let's keep it to a dull roar.
So let's not talk about that one.
Well, you're going to tell me that one off the air.
That was a fun one.
All right. So here's your final question.
Okay.
How much are you going to bid?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. For everything.
The tits now for 1,000. Anyway.
All right.
That's it now.
What is next for Illusions of Grandeur?
Oh, that's easy. It's 2020, the year of the siren.
All the way to the top, man. No stop until we get to the top.
It's 2020, the year of the siren. That's what we're doing. The Siren album is in production right now, and it'll be out in June, and then it's on the tour over the summer and into next winter. So that's what's next, is more album, more tour.
We're working on a trilogy, so we're in the second album of the trilogy.
Oh, and I lied to you guys again, but it's an easy question too.
Okay.
So where can the listeners find you online?
If you go to iogmusic.com, just iogmusic.com, you'll find our Facebook, our Twitter, our Spotify, our
Instagram,
our iTunes, everything links from our main page.
If you message us, well, I answer. I talk to everybody. So if you message me, I will talk to you. I will. I'm very grateful, and I'm very present on there.
Yeah.
So.
She is. So she answers a lot.
It's not somebody else. It's me.
Yeah, our management doesn't answer our Instagrams and our stuff. We do. So.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me on episode number 500. I didn't make a big enough deal about that. This is 500 episodes.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about being 500.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I made a bigger deal than you did.
I think you did too.
It's not a competition. I'm just saying, if it was, I would have won. Time flies.
Man. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, we were really happy to be on episode 500.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And immortalize, the halfway point to 1,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's taken me almost 15 years.
Well, here's to 15
Here's to another 15 more.
Okay. When I get there, we'll bring you guys on for 1,000.
I'm about to say, it's a date, man. I want to be on episode 1,000.
Let me mention who's coming up on the show, and then we'll let them listen to some more music from Pennsylvania, and we'll continue our conversation for a little while. They'll miss out.
There it is.
All right, so up next we have Demetis from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
I know them.
Good
then
band.
Stone Cold Killer on February 14th. Black Ridge on the 21st. Identity X on the 28th. The Rust Project on March 6th. Common Crown on the 13th. And Filthy Media, or Filthy Music, depending on which name he's going by at that point. And that's what I have scheduled currently. If you want to be on the show, drop me an email at bill@parockshow.com. And make sure that you go out and like all of Illusions of Grandeur's social media so you can follow them around the world.
Thank you.